I was chatting to some young people the other day at a school, and I was talking about the fact that I have a mental illness. And one of the kids said something interesting. He said, I wish I had a mental illness because then I could do anything I want. And it sparked a discussion about responsibility, sparked a discussion around the fact that even though I live with a mental illness, I can't just go around doing whatever I want. I can't just say, I have a mental illness, so it excuses my behavior. And, I don't want to go into the legalities of it because that's not my purview here. My purview is I'm living with mental illness. I make mistakes. Do I blame myself or do I blame my mental illness? That's what we're going to talk about today. So let's dive in, see what happens. Welcome to Mark My Words. Mark My Words is the story of my journey from a place where I was shattered to where I could live again. My kids have grown up basically in living memory with a father that lives with complex PTSD, lives with severe anxiety, depression, has anger issues, can be distant, can be, inconsistent. Lots and lots of different things that I can be. And something that I had to contend with when they were very little is that I still have to own my behavior. I couldn't just say to the kids that something was not my fault because of my mental illness. So dad lost his temper and he shouted at you. I had to let my kids know that that was not their fault. And a big part of that was taking ownership of my own behavior. So, yes, I have and had mental health condition. Yes, it is severe. Yes, it is extreme. Yes, it causes severe behavior challenges for me at times. But those challenges aren't the way I act out is not excused because of my diagnosis. And here's an important thing that I want to mention about diagnosis. Why do we get a diagnosis? Why is it that we seek for somebody to tell us that we've got something wrong with us? Is it to give us that excuse? Is it to give us that excuse to say, well, I can't work because of my mental illness? I can't do this because of my mental illness. I get mad and I smack my kids because of my mental illness. No, we get a diagnosis so that we know what the obstacles are, so that we know what we have to overcome, because you can't defeat an enemy if you don't know anything about it. And believe you me, mental illness is an enemy. It's a thief that comes to steal and destroy. But at the same time, we need to understand that while we are going through stuff, our behavior is still our behavior. I did something around this subject a few years ago, and somebody got in touch with me and said, Mark, you don't understand about this thing. You don't understand exactly what you're talking about because of blah, blah, blah. And the blah, blah, blah was basically what I was saying. It was that mental illness is no excuse. And they were saying, oh, yeah, but the people around them. And it's like, no, no, no. The people around you may be dealing with you unfairly. The people around you might be harming you, but you are still responsible for how you respond to that. Now, it sounds like I'm giving a lecture, but I want you to think about it. I'm telling this to myself. I say this to myself often. And a significant issue happened a couple of weeks ago. I think I spoke about it last week. And I responded really, really badly. And there was people in my way. I was mad and I was belligerent and I was angry. I don't know if I was abusive. I can't remember. I hope I wasn't. But even if I wasn't, I still went around to each person that was in the room that saw me in that situation and apologized to them. Um, I might have been 100% correct in my feelings, but my actions were not correct. And I had to own that. I had to go to these people and in myself, like it's not like I had to, like it was a law, but in myself, I had to go to them individually and just apologize for the way that I spoke, the way that I talked, the way that I acted, and hope that they understood that it had nothing to do with them. Not apologize, but, I've got this mental illness stuff. It was like, no, the way I spoke to you was inexcusable. Inexcusable. So I can't have an excuse. So I can't do one of those backhanded apologies. I'm really sorry, but as soon as you put a but in there, you're not really sorry. Now, to their credit, the people around me understood. And each and every one of them was supportive of me and letting me know that they understood that I was going through something and that I was not, um, you know, I was not less than in their eyes. And that was a really special gift that they gave me. But that was not the point of why I did it. I did it because my behavior is my own. What I do, what I act out, what people see is me, and it's my fault. And I can't blame my mental illness. What's the point I'm trying to get at here? We are going to go through stuff as people with mental illness. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's going to be hard and it's going to suck. And we are going to act in very, very different ways and in difficult situations. And sometimes our actions are not going to be good. We're going to react poorly. We're going to react badly. Now, while mental illness is a component of it, it is not an excuse. It's not something that we can say, I did this, but I have mental illness. We have to say, my behavior at the end of the day, whoever it's towards and in whatever way, is my fault. And I got to tell you, your mental illness journey will be a lot easier if you just learn to be humble, learn to admit that you make mistakes. As soon as you do that, as soon as you admit out loud to somebody else that you make mistakes, you all of a sudden give yourself permission to make those mistakes. Yeah, it's not like we go out of our way to make a mistake, but when we do, we can forgive ourselves. We can go, you know what? I did this and hopefully I've learned from it. And next time I'll deal with it very, very differently. Man, I hope this didn't sound like a lecture or an admonishment because it's not. It's I say this in hope. I say this to the person that is listening to this and is going, Mark, you don't know what you're talking about. I have a mental illness, so I do X, Y, and Z. You need to understand that your behavior is your own, just like I did. I had to learn to be humble. I had to learn to apologize to my children, to humble myself in front of my children, to be vulnerable in front of my children. And that in turn allows me to be vulnerable to people outside of my house, to people that I wrong, to people that I treat poorly in a moment of deep anxiety or deep depression or deep anger. To me, it is one of the best ways I've had to keep moving forward. Own my mistakes, understand that I did the wrong thing, admit that I did the wrong thing, and try to do better next time. This is a message of hope. It's a message of, well, it's a request, really. Please, please try to own your actions. Hey, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. I appreciate you listening. I look forward to talking to you next week. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to Mark My Words. I'd like to thank my producer, Meredith Brosnan, and also Torian, Kevin, and Lorraine. And I can't forget the band Adelaide, who allows us to use their song as our theme.